Yeah, I remember that song. That was one of my favorite songs from Diddy Kong Racing, the first ever video game I've ever played. Good times, good times. Thought I might start out my next video with something different. Finally, I'm starting another one of these videos after several months of feeling underconfident in myself for not getting a lot of views. And I'm finally overcoming my dang fears of hitting that dang recording button and having someone over and over again telling me to make these dang videos. Been wanting to do it, but yeah, I had a lot of reasons. Plus, I was busy. I have a job at working at a bakery, and it's a pretty hard job, but one of the places that I really, really would love to work in. So I am going to finally continue my next video with talking more about my beloved story. So let me see if I can turn on the, what is the display? Okay, the display would be this. Darn it, it's not working again. Hang on. Did I shut off the cap button? Darn it. I hate it when these things don't work when you want them to. I don't understand this thing sometimes. Is it on? Alright, before I get started on that, let me see if I have one of the windows that I would love to have open. Oh, I remember what I wanted to have open. Yeah, there we go. I have my website on. Yeah, I've been pretty busy on Star Fox Online. A few times I am starting what I call, or rather have been doing, something that I call the Ultimate Story Scrapbook, in which I spoil a lot of things from my Ultimate Story because I really want to talk a lot about the things going on in my story, and they've been amazing. They also contain spoilers, so for those who don't like spoilers, you can you wouldn't want to see it because like I said, it's full of spoilers and stuff like that. Just stuff that I really wanted to talk about from the next part of my story, Ultimate Story 2, which I've been wanting to talk about for a long time because it starts with my all-time favorite video game, Star Fox Adventures. And as you can see, I made a new icon for myself, and that's what our beloved female character from my beloved story looks like. Let me see. How do I swear I thought I had this thing working. Image? Did I turn off the image? I turned off the display. Oh, image must be... Okay. Is it still displaying the... Yes, it is. Still working on this thing. I swear I spend so much of my time figuring out how to work this thing, and window. Okay, good. Alright, now on to continuing on with my story. That wasn't the one. Yeah, as you can see on here, oh, never mind. Oh, crud. That's my letter from, okay, there we go. Have I been, as you may have already noticed, I have been, doing some, fixing up my story a bit. Hold on a second, why hasn't this been bold? There we go, that's fixed. Alright, let me get down to my... No, not that. Yeah, here. Chapter 11 of... Well, I can't say it's my favorite chapter, but it's one that I really had to get on with doing, because it's a very important part of the story. You're more than welcome to read it yourself. As you can see, Misty has begun her training with Lisa. It talks about how she gets started with having Misty show her a ball of energy that she's able to form with her hands. And as you can see, I've been changing the dialogue a bit and re-editing my story based on dialogue so that they'll be easier to read. I've had a few people complain about the dialogue for my story. That should not be there. So, blah blah blah. It talks about how the girls get started on her story, on the training and stuff like that, the next morning, and went through the same thing, blah blah blah. I'm not really interested in this chapter too much. Like I said, if you want to read it yourself, you're more than welcome to. Blah, blah, blah. But my favorite part of the chapter is this. Meanwhile, as Misty was training, Fox watched her as she practiced her abilities and trained herself to perfect her powers. He watched as she improved herself and her powers and was amazed by every minute. Except during times when she was unable to get it right, but he never gave up on her. Sometimes he would cheer her on and help her out whenever he could. Lisa and Peach accepted it since it did help her out in some ways. He always believed in her and everything she could do. He believed that one day Misty would do some amazing things with her powers, and that made her feel special. This pushed Misty to continue her training, and little by little she improved with his encouragement and dedication towards her. You can see in the story, Fox had become like a bit of a cheerleader to Misty. I'm not even gonna start on the whole gender discriminating nonsense. But yeah, Fox has always been rooting for her, and he has been very supportive of her throughout her training. Of course, Falco and Buttercup had to be jerks towards her. Tease her. Yeah. Chasing away by tongue brought Misty and Peach closer together and made her princess training much more bearable, even though it was tough to get through. Yeah. I don't know how unusual it is for a character in the story to become very close to someone who tends to give her a hard time, but Misty and Peach really do become close friends in the story, and let's see, within a few weeks, Misty's powers and princess training improved, but there was still room for more progress. Every once in a while, she would stop to hang out with her good friend Bubbles. Two of them became so close that they developed a sister bond with one another. She also got to know Ribbon a little more. She did also get to know Peach, not as her teacher, but as a good friend. She also got some time to know the members of the Star Fox team, including Fox. She spent a lot of time with Slippy, but she spent more time getting to know Fox as he got time to know her. The two of them soon developed a strong friendship, and they enjoyed hanging out with one another. He eventually went on to tell her about a friend that he lost a long time ago, and blah blah blah. Yeah. So basically, Fox and Misty became very, very close friends. Yeah. Uh, that was something I enjoyed, and it was actually an idea that my brother had me push on, had pushed on to me because my original idea was to have Slippy be close friends with Misty, and my brother hated the idea because he just really doesn't like Slippy. So he just pushed on the idea of having Misty become real close friends with Fox. I resisted it at first, but after a while, my mind decided to allow it and became more and more fixated with the idea to the point where I actually enjoyed it, and now it's part of that. So it'll more likely make a lot of those those shipping fans really, really mad, but you know what? Those people are crazy. And here is a very interesting chapter, one of my favorites. And one involving an idea that I really don't want to talk about. And it talks about Slippy having like underwater equipment that he wants to use, but he forgot all the scuba gear. And he wanted to test the equipment right away before it gets too late. If you think this idea is lame, the original idea that I had for this was even dumber. It's ridiculous. I just really don't want to talk about it. So, this is the part where Misty reveals her princess form and her transformation and stuff like that. And throughout this whole thing, it just talks about Misty just utilizing her transformation to help the Star Fox team out for the first time. And I love this part so much. This is one of my favorite parts of the story, and this is the first of many underwater adventures that she has with them. Even Falco gets to join in on the underwater adventures, even though he's more so into being in the sky, taking on the sky. Yeah. The Star Fox team in this game really enjoy underwater adventures more so, a lot more than the original characters. Yeah, and you can see that in the story, Fox has a tendency to be very protective of her. She swam off. She's awfully headstrong. I see a part on here where Falco was all like, when they were like talking about her, and Peppy's like, she's awfully headstrong. And Fox is all, come on, we have to make sure nothing happens to her. And Falco's like, I'm with you on that. I would never forgive myself if any harm would come to her. And everybody was like, looking at him in an annoyed manner. It's like, what? I agree with Falco on this. We have to protect her. If what I read about her is true, then we must protect her at all costs. All right, let's go. And they, like, caught up with her. As she was got near the shipwreck. Misty! She looked back. Fox saw Fox and his friends approach her. Guys, well, it's about time you caught up with me. Misty, you have to be careful. There's no telling what's still inside all of these shipwrecks. Yeah, I know. Come on, let's go inside. She was about to swim off, pardon the typos, but then Fox grabbed her by the arm. I'm serious, Misty. We need to assess the situation first. What do you mean? I mean, we need to understand what we're dealing with. It's a sunken ship. What more do we need to know? First off, we need to know if it's dangerous. Dangerous? What do you mean? There could be traps on board that ship. For all we know, we may not be able to make it back alive unless we know what we're up against. So what do you suppose we should do? We need to approach the situation carefully. Let me go first to check if it's safe. Then you can go after me. So, yeah, you can see that Fox has become very protective of Misty. He is like that in the original games, but you begin to see more and more that he is like more so towards Misty than he is towards the other. So, yeah, they talk about exploring the ship and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. And what they find down there is very shocking, and they hope to. So, yeah, they talk about the ship, blah, 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 what they found in the shipwrecks, blah, blah, blah. And this is the best part of the story right here, when Peppy actually starts talking about. So, right here in this part, Peppy then cleared his throat. What is it, Peppy? Fox, Slippy, Falco, there's something I need to tell you regarding Misty and her aquatic powers. What is it, Peppy? What we experienced earlier today regards a secret that I found out in an ancient book that I discovered not long ago. It also involves her home planet, Earth. Earth? Really? There's that name again. In this book, I have discovered that she is the mystic princess of the Earth's oceans. What? What? What are you talking about, you crazy rabbit? I have read that long ago the Earth's oceans were protected by her, until a great and powerful wizard destroyed her, but her essence survived, and has passed down from within a group of humans from generation to generation for thousands of years. And this you found out from a book. I didn't believe it myself until I saw her, and the similarities between her and this ancient mystic princess were uncanny, but very clear. Yeah, I actually heard from a friend of mine who lives on Earth about a legend of a beautiful protector of the Earth's oceans. He said it was just a folktale, but he honestly believed that it was true. So let me get this straight. Not only is she a fairy, but now she's some mystic guardian of this planet's water supply? That sounds like a bunch of malarkey to me. Malarkey or not, Falco, it's all true, and she's undeniable proof of it. Misty looked down in a coy manner. You okay? Yes, it's just that all of this is happening so fast to me. One moment my sisters are keeping me cooped up inside our home, and the next thing I know, I'm a princess and a guardian of my planet's oceans. It all seems like a dream to me. I can understand that. I remember when Lisa was undergoing some unusual changes in her life. It's hard, but I'm sure that she'll tell you that adjusting to all these changes is what we need to do in order to adapt. He's right. I was becoming a fairy. I had to make a lot of unpleasant choices in my life, but I've learned to live with them, and you'll eventually do the same too. Shoot, Misty was still coy. Don't worry, it'll come easy to you. I hope so. So, Lisa, is this what you meant when she said she was a princess? Yes, Fox, that's exactly what I meant. So, what now? Now, the rest is up to her. I can't force you to make decisions that you don't feel comfortable with. That has to come from you. What do you want? Well, for now, I want no one here to tell anyone else about what's been going on with me or my powers, and most importantly, my aquatic powers.
Okay, that should be no problem. To tell you the truth, I was hoping you would come to that decision.
What?
Your powers are unique, and any malicious person would want to take advantage of you. Deciding to keep your powers a secret is a very wise decision.
Really?
Of course. I have temptations to use your powers to the team's advantage, but I'm not going to because that is not my decision to make.
Of course, if you would like to use your powers to help us out, then I would be more than happy to oblige. But that will always be up to you. She stood in thought for a moment. She then smiled. Okay, I would love to use my powers to help you guys. Really? Sure, but only if you promise to keep this a secret.
That should not be a problem at all.
He then grabbed her by her wrist and held her hand out. He then placed his hand on top of hers.
We will make a pact to not tell anyone about your powers if you don't want us to. Anyone else oblige?
Fox then places his hand on Peppy's. Sure, I'll gladly oblige.
Anyone else?
Slippy then placed his hand on top of Fox's. Absolutely! It will be my pleasure.
How about you, Falco? Agree to join the pact?
They all looked at Falco as he hesitated. Sure, why not? He placed his hand on top of Slippy's. No one would believe me if I tell him, especially since I'm the last person to believe in all of this myself.
Good. Now let's keep this promise and guard this with our lives. This secret will become a threat by those who seek the princess.
Steve was surprised, but everyone else maintained a serious look on their faces. And with that, the girls and man joined us. Looks like he found the friends that Lee has been talking about. Yes, thank you for introducing me to them. It was my pleasure. I knew I could trust Fox and his teammates. They're good people. Misty smiled. They sure are. The rest of these chapters, I don't care too much about. This involves Lisa going back to Earth after sensing some dark magic, or rather her puppy, Sally. I don't know if I mentioned anything about Sally, but when I was really young, my grandpa gave me this little toy, a doll, one of the 101 Dalmatians dolls that you can wash, and I decided to make her Lisa's puppy and came up with the name Sally. I lost my grandpa when I was 7 years old. He had a weak heart artery and, well, there was a lot back then that I didn't understand. I remember my grandpa being in the hospital twice. First time he left for a while, and then he went back, and I can remember that last phone call that I had with him. I guess keeping this puppy in my story is one way of just holding on. Still holding on to my grandpa. It was the toughest thing for a 7-year-old to deal with. He was the first ever person in my life who passed away. I miss him so much, and sometimes I wish he was still around because there's so much he's missing out on. He was so great. He was such a lunatic, and that's one of the reasons why I miss him so much. So yeah, I keep her around. And DW, ever remember the show Arthur? Yeah, apparently DW became a character in the story too because of something I did a long time ago when I was a kid that involved showitis. Oh crud. Hang on. Yeah. This is one of the other things that I've been wanting to do if I were to make my my next video. Please switch on. Are you on? Okay, there we go. So, it's time for me to begin a segment that I like to call, first off, let me get my music. No. I need to set the default on this thing. This is a little segment that I like to call Revising While on the Air. This is when I revise one of my stories while I'm recording. I really need to work on talking about this, just talking in general. I am, as you can obviously tell, I'm really not good at talking, but hey, this is a fun little song I can use for one of these segments for my games. I mean, my recordings. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's better. This is when I revise one of my stories in front of everybody who's watching. Yay! As you can see, there's still some things in here that have yet to be changed. Now, as I read through my story, I'm gonna revise it. So yeah, I've been waiting a long time for this. Okay, here we go. Birthdays and catching up. On a normal day, Fox sat by and watched Lisa and Peach continue. Gotta use those past tense terms because somebody pointed that out to me once. At that moment, they stopped for a moment to take a short break. Stopped to take a short break. Okay, great. Hey, hey Lisa, what's today's date? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with how the days are on Corneria. I was talking about Earth. What day is it today on Earth? Oh, I never thought of the days on Earth. Why'd you ask? I'm just curious. I have spent so much time on Corneria that I haven't even thought of how many days went by on Earth. Let me check. If this is the incorrect ways to do dialogues, I don't care. I do my stories my way, and I don't care what anybody else has to say. Plus, I feel as though writing my stories this way is a good way for me to express what it's like to live with autism. Because I have a very, very unique point of view of the world. It seems... that it's been several months since we started our training, and how to analyze what the people are thinking. Oh my gosh, Misty, I just read your sister's mind. Your birthday's in a few days. What? Really? I didn't even think about my birthday. Your birthday's coming out? Your birthday's coming up? Great! We should celebrate.
I agree. This will be your first time celebrating your birthday on another planet.
Yeah, that's right. You know something else? This'll be my first ever birthday with a much larger group of people. How did you celebrate your birthday, Misty?
Well, we would have a small party with just the four of us. Me, Daisy, Violet, and Lily.
I don't get much for my birthday either. My sisters tried not to make a big fuss about it. I never really knew why until recently. You had a very uneventful childhood, didn't you, Misty?
Yes, I did.
Well, I want to make this birthday celebration special for you. It seems like you needed it after having nothing remarkable happen to you.
I agree. We should throw a big party for you. Oh, I can't wait to get started on the party planners.
So yeah, they did like a setup for her birthday and did like a big thing. And I had something in mind when I was younger, but I can't really remember much of what was going on. Just everybody surrounding Misty and some things involving my childhood too. I remember just laying on a lounge chair while opening my presents. Those were some good birthdays. My birthdays when I was a kid were quite fun. Just family members and a few friends. Or rather, my brother's friends, because I really didn't have many friends when I was younger. Only time I had a birthday with kids from school was perhaps when I was 4. Going through elementary school, I really didn't make a lot of friends. It was one of the things that my brother and my dad used to nag me about so many times when I was a kid. And they just really didn't understand what was going on with me. I didn't really understand what was going on with me, but yeah, most of my birthdays consist of family members coming over to the house and stuff like that. And I wonder how much of what was going on with me that they really understood. Because I didn't even realize I had any disabilities of any kind until I was like in middle school. Yeah, you might think that I had a sad childhood, but not really. There are some kids out there who had it worse. I know Emil did. I mean, freaking poor guy was picked on a lot when he was a kid. It's difficult to listen to stories like that. And he also didn't have a lot of friends growing up either, so that's one of a good number of ways in which I can relate to the guy and why I admire him so much. I have more or less been writing a few more things on his comment board recently. Yeah, Emil. Speaking of which, I have there might be a good chance I'll be going to PAX East in April. I don't know if my mom bought the tickets for them yet, but I might show myself there. I'm not gonna say exactly what I look like because I'm still coy about sharing my face on the internet, what with all the crazy people on the internet. But yeah, so anyway, it talks about the whole thing with the birthday. Yeah, Princess Peach went back to her castle to prepare a birthday cake. Everyone else decided on gifts, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there she sat in a chair as all of her friends surrounded her. She was very happy.
Guys, this is wonderful. I can't believe you did all this for me. It was our pleasure, Misty. Yeah, you have been working so hard. You know anything else to say.
You don't need to say anything, Misty. Just enjoy yourself.
Enough talk! Let's party!
And you know how the members of the Star Fox team love to party. Her presents, Mary, please, blah, blah, blah. Several days later, Fox, Misty, and Fox, Slippy, and Falco told Lisa about their childhood. She gave them a chance to return to the Mushroom Kingdom with Peach. Misty tagged along and returned with them.
Oh, it's so good to have 3 of my closest friends back in the Mushroom Kingdom after that dreadful day.
I know what you mean. I never thought we would see each other again.
Yes, it was the worst thing I ever had to endure, but that's all in the past.
I know. I feel like a kid again, returning to the Mushroom Kingdom.
By the way, there was something that I wanted to give to you.
She then had her servants handed them some of the mushroom delicacies to each of her friends. They looked at them in a concerning manner.
What's wrong, boys?
Not to sound ungrateful or anything, but my mushroom, it has eyes. Dude, mine's staring at me.
Mine just winked at me!
That part is hilarious.
Oh, come now! I've waited a long time to share these tasty delicacies with you. They're quite popular in the Mushroom Kingdom. Go on, eat up!
They hesitated for a bit. Then they finally took a bite out of their mushrooms. As they ate them, they made terrible grimaces. I don't think they like them, Peach.
They always seem to enjoy our mushroom dishes. I wonder why they can't seem to enjoy these.
Maybe it's because those mushrooms were cooked. These are raw. I hate to admit it, but he's right. We're not used to eating raw mushrooms.
Good point. I've been looking forward to making you boys a nice, delicious mushroom cake.
Here's more hilariousness. Dang keyboard isn't working. Just then they had startled looks on their faces. You're kidding, right? Mushrooms and cake?
Why, yes. It's one of our most popular cake recipes. Suddenly, I don't feel hungry anymore. Oh, come now. You don't think it's that bad.
Honestly, Peach, I think putting mushrooms in cake is weird. And not the usual kind of weird.
Well, regardless, I think you should try some of the cake. It's delicious.
All right. We'll try this stupid cake. Will you stop pestering us? Oh, Falco always loves to gripe and complain. Soon enough, Peach got started on making the mushroom cake. She spent a lot of time making it. She got the ingredients, mushrooms, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she just talks about her making the dang cake. She prepared slices of the cake and gave each slice to Fox, Misty, Slippy, and then Falco. They hesitated.
Well, go on. Try it.
They were still hesitant, but they tried a slice of cake. They made a slight grimace. They made slight grimaces because it's more than one character.
Oh, come now. Don't tell me it's that bad.
Wow. I really love repeating myself. Oh, wait, no. It says come on, not come now.
Oh, come on. Don't tell me it's that bad.
It's not that it's terrible. It's just we're not used to eating mushrooms and cake.
Don't get me wrong. It's very sweet.
Even the mushrooms.
But of course, we use the sweetest mushrooms for our cake.
Yes, but none of us ever thought of using mushrooms in cake. It's something that never came to mind.
Really? Well, mushrooms are something we use all the time, even in sweets. Like I said, they are a very popular delicacy here in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I remember the first time I came here. Even back then, I was able to see why this place was called the Mushroom Kingdom. Good one, Fox.
There is something else that I would like all of you to know. My birthday is coming up soon.
What? Really?
Yes.
Wow. This will be the first time that we will be celebrating your birthday since we were kids.
Yes, so I want this year to be special, and I can't think of a more special way to celebrate it than with all of my closest friends. Aww.
Well, that also means that you can't prepare your own birthday cake. Someone else has to do it.
I know. Unfortunately, all of my best bakers will be busy for the next few days. I don't know who will step up to bake my cake.
Maybe I should try. They all looked at Misty. Misty, are you sure about this?
Sure.
Why not? I've been training extra hard on both my fairy training and princess training. How hard can it be to make one cake?
Well, if you feel that you can make my cake, you're more than welcome to use my kitchen. Just try not to make a huge mess in there.
No problem. I'll try. I can have Bubbles and Ribbon help me out. Great. I'm sure they would be more than willing to lend a hand. I, on the other hand, have things that I need to do tomorrow. But I will be there to see how the cake turns out.
Okay, so while Misty makes the cake, the rest of us will figure out what we can give for your birthday.
Give you for your birthday?
No need, Slippy. The only thing I ever want is for all my friends to be here on my birthday. Those are all the presents that I need. Peach. Now then, Misty, before you get started on making my cake, there's something that you need to know. There is going to be a lot of people attending my birthday, so I want you to make a cake that's big enough to feed an entire crowd. What? Are you sure about this? I don't think I can make a cake for an entire crowd. Not to worry, I'll stay and help you make a practice cake. Then you will have to try and make one yourself. Oh, okay. All right then, let's get to work.
A nervous look grew on Misty's face. Oh, this is gonna be good. You know, perhaps we should stay and watch. Stay here and watch. Just to see how this will turn out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Soon enough, Missy, blah, blah, blah. And then they just talk about how they got getting into the kitchen.
Now then, an important part for you to know is, as a princess, you will have to be willing to serve everyone however you can. This cake baking lesson will be part of your princess training. Aw, man, don't worry. If you learn to manage this process, making cakes will become easy, even fun. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Oh.
Okay. Yeah. This is one of many ways in which I've added, like, a part of myself into the story. One of my favorite things to do is bake cakes. I've loved it since I was 12 years old, and I've also made Misty a very phenomenal cook for another reason. Cake up on herself is tough, strenuous. Sophie was really digging into the cake. I don't usually say this, but it's good.
Come again?
Even you like my cake?
Yes.
Yeah, so it basically talks about a lot about what's been going on in my story and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and la la la. I'm just muddling through this for now because I'm just... Oh, this part. During the party, my favorite character from Paper Mario shows up. Lady Bow, one of Mario's 8 partners. I don't know why I like Bow so much. She was just an interesting character. From here, you can see that Ribbon has kind of taken a liking to her. Ribbon, Bow. I wonder how those two are related. Does it have something to do with their names? Who knows? Oh, come on, it should be obvious. Let's see. Ribbon, online. Now, as you can see, Bow is really getting acquainted with the girls. Yeah. And then from these 5 characters, I just decided to come up with this crazy thing known as these girls forming a group called the Friendly Five. Which is kind of strange, considering that I don't exactly remember Bow being friendly. Maybe she is, I don't know. She's just a bit bratty, but she actually does become helpful, and she does care about the other boos. You know what? I think that'll be it for now. I will close this, and I will hope to see... I'll hope to make another video once I decide to... Once I decide to make another one. I don't know when I'll do it, but it'll probably be sometime soon, so goodbye!